I don't know about most of you, but I simply cannot stand to be inside a messy and unorganized room. You know the kind where books and belongings are thrown helter skelter, and there's not a single clean or empty surface in sight. I'm just describing what makes me uncomfortable. Now, I'm no Monica Geller when it comes to cleaning, but I try my best to keep my room tidy, as a messy room keeps me from focusing. Now, let's compare the image of that unkempt room with that of our minds. The constant critical voice and the incessant thoughts that bombard us, not allowing us a single moment free from its bickering. You can see the resemblance there. And I'll admit, the neat freak in me would be appalled at the judgment filled and anxiety driven environment in my mind. Things weren't always like this, and I can prove it to you with the help of just this simple piece of paper. While this may be cause for good laugh, the reason I'm showing you these is to reflect upon something much deeper: the innocence of a child. Notice that these answers could have been written by a child and only a child, because only children can be so unfiltered and simple. Children do not have that questioning voice that finds flaws in everything. They're oblivious to the conflicts and turmoils that adults around them seem to have. An innocence indeed. So you have to wonder, how does the very same child that answers every wrong question with the right answer grow and learn to incorporate poor habits such as hate, envy, or resent? After all, it's not as if we're born with it, we must learn it somewhere along the way. The upbringing and culture that a child is born into have a huge influence on the development of such traits. Children tend to avoid pain and conflict, so they develop a fight or flight response towards conflict. They tend to want to enter flight mode and escape out of self preservation. When this option is not there, they're left with none but to fight. What both of these responses do is that they've primed us to hold on to unnecessary stress. This loop repeats again and again until it molds itself into our default negative attitude. But we can break free from this vicious cycle. Fighting and conflict drain our energies, and there's no need to cultivate such destructive habits. By being aware of these loops and constantly asking ourselves, why am I entertaining this? We can prevent them from hijacking our reactions. And we can avoid losing control. By establishing clear boundaries, we will naturally eliminate those that are most toxic to us. You attract what you are, so while we remove the bad elements from our life, we must also gain the awareness that will guide us towards the right path. Our time here is brief. We must value it. Look at beloved basketball player Kobe Bryant. Along with his daughter and seven others, he boarded an aircraft to attend his daughter's basketball game. If his family knew he wasn't coming back, they would have hugged him a little tighter, looked at him a little longer, and bid him a greater goodbye. But there was no way they would have known, and along with several thousands of fans, they were left devastated. Cherish every moment because you truly never know which one will be your last. We fail to reflect upon how fickle and uncertain life can be. Today, it is the toll of coronavirus. Tomorrow, it'll be climate change. It baffles me how so many of us take a new day for granted. We're not just blind to our mortality, but also steeped into our privilege. Recently, my 10-year-old brother began his whine for a new cycle. After the usual back and forth, my father gave in, and the next morning, my brother woke up to a fresh new bike conveniently placed in front of him to ride. My father then recalled his first cycle. As a high school dropout that came from a poor family, he would juggle multiple jobs and pinch pennies here and there just so he could buy himself a cycle someday. I knew then that neither me nor my ignorant brother would ever be able to understand the value of the cycle my father had earned himself. And that's where a lot of us are, barely even aware of what we have, rather be grateful for it. Why do we reminisce days of our childhood? The mind that produced the kind of answers like I showed you earlier. It's because today we've accepted the negativity and anxiety around us as a norm, treating it as a way of life. But something inside us tells us there is a better way. We used to be more innocent and free after all. That's why we yearn for our younger selves, because our mindsets have changed. Now, I'm not saying we shirk our responsibilities to the side, rather, we visit them with a changed mindset. We don't have to learn new ways of being, just unlearn what was taught to us. Then what we've always known and deep down always was will emerge naturally. When we learn to view the glass as half full, we get to relish the full richness that life has to offer. A happy life is work too, but that's where the fun begins. Pressure and deadlines stop being our driving purpose because we realize how short our time here is. We start to become aware and grateful for what we have, allowing our insecurities, anxieties to melt away, leaving that unreserved child, but now wiser with age. It's time we declutter our minds because only then will life be a journey worth living for.